Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 23 of Civilization 5 as Portugal on Emperor difficulty. We declared war on the Mayans again, so did everybody else. We weren't the first people to do it, and we managed to take Tikal. This was my ultimate goal before attacking Egypt. It means that I actually have a border with Egypt and I'm very close to Thebes. There's also not an awful lot of stuff in the way. Yes, there's a line of forests and hills here, so we do have a bit of rough terrain to go through. But once we get into this sort of area, apart from this this hill here, it's mostly open terrain, which is going to make it nice and easy to get Thebes. We do have some great war bombers, which are currently in Palenque. We are going to move them into Tikal once it is a little bit in a better position. Hopefully by that point we'll be able to upgrade them to bombers as well, which will give them the 8 range they need to attack Thebes, because currently Thebes is 7 tiles away from Tikal and is slightly out of range of our great war bombers. We're also 7 turns away from dynamite, which means we will have artillery, so we'll be able to upgrade all of our cannons. We already have infantry, whereas most of the AI seems to be stomping around with great war infantry. That's going to help things quite a lot as well. It's been a while since I looked at the demographics. Oddly enough, I actually have the most happiness, considering the last time I checked, I had civil resistance because I was actually had a revolutionary wave. I was the only person that's picked the autocracy ideology. Obviously, Arabia is pretty much top for everything, but I have the most land and I have the most happiness. That's actually quite amazing. Korea has the lowest happiness. Assyria has the lowest science, and the Mayans, well, they pretty much have the lowest everything else, and they're not going to be around for an awful long time. In the last video, Arabia went to war with Polynesia, took at least a couple of their cities. Nukuhiva has fallen. Honolulu is still up. Tonga has also fallen as well, so they lost at least 2 cities, which is very, very nice. Let's just have a quick look at that cultural overview. So yes, I am still in a revolutionary wave there, but I still... No, that can't be right. How can I have the highest happiness when Egypt is on 41? Unless it's actually not taking this number into account and it's just looking at the base figures, which I guess is a possibility. Either way, we're moving on to the next turn. I still have a couple of great engineers, but I don't have any wonders queued up that I can use to build them with yet. Embassy with Korea. Again, no reason not to. We will be wiping Korea out after Egypt. Well, certainly we'll be taking a nice big chunk out of them anyway. We're having a big juicy bite out of them. We do have an enemy near. Well, unless it's either a city-state or it is a Mayan unit. Either way, whatever it is, it's not going to be around for long. Might be a city-state that Maya is allied with. Have tried to peace out with them a couple of times, but they were not interested. Oh, yeah, there's a Mayan archaeologist down there. Not an awful lot I can do about that. He's not really a threat. If he just wants to swim around, that is fine. I will try again to peace out with him. I mean, he's only got 1 city, and I'm just happy to take a white peace now. He's not. I've got no intention of taking Chichen Itza. It's not really in a strategically important position for me. And to be honest, I don't want to take a major happiness tank by taking on lots of cities that I don't really need to. What I could do with Elephantine, because Elephantine is actually out of resistance, we could go in here and annex a city, which takes us down from 17 to 14. But then we could actually go in and build the courthouse, because the advantage of doing that... the advantage of being able to do that means that we will get... it'll go back from 17 to from 14 to 17 anyway, because the courthouse will reduce the unhappiness from annexation, and we'll get +3 happiness from our ideology. So it'll actually... It's pretty much very important. One of the main reasons for taking autocracy, if you are going for the... One of the main reasons for taking autocracy, if you're going for a domination victory, is so you can have the police state. Because that basically means whenever you annex a city and build a courthouse, you're actually getting a net gain on happiness. And it's pretty much the only way to stay in a positive happiness if you're taking huge amounts of cities. So Porto's finished the broadcast tower. You're going to go ahead now and get the research lab. We really need to start pushing up our science wherever we can. That road has now been connected up, and I'm grateful for that. 1, 2, 3. We can go ahead and get a farm over there, so let's go ahead and do that. Still need to get some archaeologists out. That cavalry's just going to sit there. Most of these units are just going to sit tight for the time being, because I don't want to prematurely pull the trigger on Egypt. I'd sooner have my artillery first, and what have we got queued up after artillery? Do we have anything queued up after artillery? We've got railroad queued up. Not sure if Neuschwanstein is already gone. Be nice if we could get that, though. So we will go into railroad, and then after railroad would probably be nice to get radar, because getting bombers and getting paratroopers would be really good for us. That also means we have to go through ballistics and electronics. So we'd get battleships, we'd also get machine guns. So that's probably the way we're going to go through things. Worker, what about you? 1, 2, 3. Is it worth building anything here? I'm really struggling for finding things for workers to do now. Do we need anyone down here in Tikal? We probably do. There's a couple of pillaged tiles, and there's a few things down here. A lot of unimproved tiles, I guess. So we can go ahead and do that. Got some stone here we could improve. I'm amazed that stone isn't improved. I mean, it is within the range of the city. That is quite amazing, actually. You can move up too. You can move up onto that hill. You're staying there. On to the next turn. Getting a fair bit of gold in the bank as well. Yes, I am saving quite a bit of that to upgrade my cannons into artillery. But we do potentially have enough to bribe a city-state or two. But there again, I'm not necessarily convinced that we need to do that right now. Could use it to just rush by some buildings, but again, I'm not sure that that is the answer. So maybe we'll just keep it in our back pocket until we actually need it. One thing I didn't do is I didn't actually look at Tikal and see what we got from here. So we got a university, very nice. We also got a windmill and a workshop. We also got the broadcast tower, brilliant. And what else did we get out of here? Forge, nice, granary. Got a mint and a zoo. So for those of you who are not sure what happens when you take a city. When you take a city, first of all, it loses half of its population. And even if then somebody takes it back, it loses half again. So every time a city changes hands, it does lose quite a lot of its population. In terms of the buildings, whenever you capture a enemy city, all of its military buildings get destroyed. You keep the wonders. You keep great work buildings if they have a great work in them. And then any great works building that doesn't have a great work in it, and any other building has it's either a 33% chance to be destroyed or a 33% chance to be captured. I can't remember which way round it is. So basically, it's 2/3 one and 1/3 of the other that you're going to get the remaining buildings. But you will always get the wonders, and you will always get great works buildings if it has a great work in it. And military buildings will always get destroyed. So the buildings that are in there aren't too bad. It's quite a nice little selection. I guess we could go ahead and build another farm there. It wouldn't be the worst idea all the time. So let's go ahead and do that. You guys have now finished that Vittoria there. We haven't got one over here. Now these guys have got spices, which we've already got. So probably don't necessarily need to... We do have spices, don't we? I'm sure we probably do. Yes, we do. So there isn't really an awful lot of point in you doing that. You've got gems. Do we already have gems? Yeah, we already have gems. Oh, you've already got the Vittoria there. Anyway, it's probably where we're getting the gems from. Yerevan has spices. Vancouver doesn't like us, but you don't appear to have any unique luxuries. Well, you've got furs. Do we have furs? Yeah, we have furs. You have furs in Mombasa. Where else do we have? Hanoi has silk. Do we have silk? We don't have silk. So, what are the chances... And I guess I know the answer to this question already, of being able to get a worker to Hanoi? Not impossible. We've got enough workers that I'm willing to risk it. Let's see if we can get there. Infantry, just go on to alert. That was the one that took the city. It's just healed up. Everyone just go on to alert. We don't need to move any further forwards. We don't want Egypt to get too jumpy. Got a cargo ship that's finished its route with Baghdad. You can carry on, because we are getting a little bit of science from there. On to the next turn. We do still need to build another cargo ship. Do still need to get a few more archaeologists out. You guys were going there to build a farm, because it's next to fresh water. So we've still got quite a few great works buildings that we can use. Just wanted to get those research labs up and running as quickly as possible, because our science output isn't particularly great. And the big problem we've got is because we've gone major hostile with everybody, it's made it impossible to get any research agreements, and that's really held us back. But as long as we can stay relatively far ahead with military tech, we should be able to wipe people out quite quickly, and then we're not going to have to worry about our falling behind in science. 11 has grown. You guys have done whatever it was you were doing there. What else could we go for? I guess we could... Right, that's too far away to turn into a farm, isn't it? Yeah. What else do we need here? I guess we could make that a mine. Not an awful lot that we can do on that turn. I guess what I could do, as I do have enough money, is potentially bribe Leventa and Bogota and Quebec City, because then when I do go to Egypt, I've got a potential lot of allies on other borders. And nobody's actually allied with Quebec City. So I could easily give them a bit of money and make them my ally. So yeah, I spent 1,500 gold there, but they have a few units around. Also gives me a little bit of a look around the back end of Egypt's territories as well. Units needing orders. That worker is still trying to get wherever it was trying to get. How come all of a sudden you've decided you can't get there anymore? Has a unit moved into your way, or have you just realised that there's a closed border somewhere that you can't get through? It was Hanoi you were heading to, wasn't it? Oh no, you still seem to think that you can get there. You are having to pass around Chichen Itza, which is a little bit concerning. Maybe I'll have to babysit you around the coast. We'll see how that works. Might be tempted to pop this, because we do have a second great general. We've got another one here. Actually going to move you forward so you're not unprotected, actually. So we do have 2 great generals. So what we could potentially do is... Well, we could declare war and drop it sort of right here. Or one of these 2 tiles. Here might not be a bad idea, because it would give us some protection from anything coming from Memphis. Something I will have to consider, and of course I would like to get Leventa, even though Leventa is a religious state, so it's not necessarily that much benefit to me in this game. They do still have a few units. They've already got infantry. And of course, the more targets we give Egypt to deal with, the easier it is for us. Okay, you want to make peace. That is absolutely fine. Give me your citrus as well. No, he doesn't want to do it. That's fine. I'm happy to go white peace with you. Which is really good now, because it means that my workers will be able to safely get around. All good stuff. Obviously, he's still at war with Egypt and not Egypt, with Korea and a few of the other civilizations. So doesn't necessarily mean that he is safe. Like I said, I'd have been quite happy not to have taken out Tikal, but I just wanted it so that I could get close to Egypt. So, production. Lisbon has finished the research lab. Still not an awful lot we can build here. I guess getting a constabulary at this point seems like a good idea. Infantry. Promote 3 unit, was it? Okay, so we're no longer getting conquistadors now. We're actually getting infantry, which is fantastic. I think you guys can have shock, because there is quite a lot of open terrain down there. Should I upgrade you guys? Probably. It's an expensive upgrade, but it's nice to have at least a few defensive units in a few of our cities. And we don't have an awful lot of Great War infantry down here, so let's start working our way down. Obviously, all of these things... I was going to say all of these things are already connected up by roads, but Palenque isn't. So we are going to have to get a worker to connect Palenque up to our road network. That won't be too much of a problem. You can go to sleep. Let's go on to the next turn. As soon as I get a worker that's not doing anything... Oh, look at that. Egypt's just suddenly started moving a lot of units my way. On the plus side, I do have better units than they do. Yeah, obviously, Pakal doesn't like me anymore. That's fine. It had to be done. Sorry, you were just a means to an end. I needed you so I could more easily attack Egypt. It was for the greater good. Well, we weren't attacked by Egypt on that turn, which is nice. What have we got going on? Right, you guys aren't particularly doing anything useful. So if I move you down into this tile here, and then we can just road down to Palenque, and then that will connect up Palenque, and it will connect up to Cal, because they already have a road connecting them anyway. Great War Infantry here. We will take you all the way up to Infantry. And we're not all that far off from getting Railroad either, so then we'll have to start upgrading our roads into railroads, which is going to be even more expensive, but it will give us better production, so that is fine. Let's continue moving this Great General forwards. On to the next turn, because of course there's not an awful lot that we can do there. Still not quite ready to go to war with Egypt yet. Can't remember how much it is to upgrade cannons into artillery. It's not cheap. Certainly not as expensive as it is upgrading artillery into mobile artillery, but it's going to be a little while before we get mobile artillery. We don't have a massive amount of aluminium, but that is the main reason why I am saving it. So we have discovered dynamite. So we do now have artillery, and it costs us 140 gold. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it is really nice that we can go ahead and do that. We have 4 cannons. That gives us 4 artillery. That is really nice. I'm going to save a little bit of the money, of course, because I would like to get the bombers. Do I want to try and get either Leventa? Bogota I'd like to get on board. 103 influence with Arabia. Can't... Oh, gold gifts actually give more than they would normally. 85 for 1,000. 19. I could buy them out on the next turn. No, I still won't have 500. 2 more turns and I can actually get them on side. Where do I have... Right, are these all mine anyway? Allied with Manila, allied with Vilnius, allied with Mbanza Congo. So... let's move you to... what have we got here? Leventa. So, well, we want to make sure we keep Mbanza Congo. Let's move you to Leventa. We might be able to get some influence there without having to spend a lot of money. We'll give that a go and see what happens. We could try and spy on Arabia, potentially. See if we can steal from some science from them. They do probably have counter-spies. But we could probably take the risk of moving you from Vilnius and putting you into... not Mecca. Definitely not Mecca. Try Medina. See what happens. Infantry. Yeah, you can just stay there now. You are going to build the road down to Palenque. Cargo ship. We still need another cargo ship. You can carry on going to Medina. We can safely trade with Chichen Itza again now as well. On to the next turn. I think we've still got time for a turn or two. Workers, what were you doing down here? Let's go ahead and get that stone connected up. Not sure why it isn't. Nor this pasture here either. You can move there into safety. Go on, next turn. Not going to risk using my Great General to steal any of Egypt's territory right now, because that would just upset them instantly anyway, so it's pointless doing it. Plus of which, at the moment, I could only pop him inside my own territory. You want to give me 3 gold per turn for gems. Would you consider giving me 5? No. 4? No, fine. Well, if you're only willing to give me 3... I'll take 3. So if I wait until I go to war with Egypt, at least then I can put my Great General in their territory. So Great Generals, you can only build a citadel in your own territory or adjacent to your borders. So I could actually put a citadel on the outside of my border. And it's always worth doing that. The best sort of tile to take, really, and I don't have any borders that look like that, but you always want to try and build... your citadel, well, somewhere like this would be ideal, because if I built the citadel on this tile, I would get this tile plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So I get 6 tiles in total. 6 tiles is the most you will ever get from a citadel, because one of the out of the 7 tiles in the surrounding hex and the center hex, one of those tiles is always going to be your own tile because it has to be adjacent to your own borders. So 6 tiles is the maximum you will ever get from placing a citadel. So that would be a great spot to put one. It would protect me a little bit from Memphis, but obviously it means I have to wait until I declare war on them because I need to be able to move into their territory to do it. Or the other option, of course, is to get open borders with them, but that's very, very unlikely to happen. So we've finished the constabulary. We could just go straight into a police station. I don't think we've had an awful lot stolen from us recently, but our science has gone up from like 470 something to 610 in just a handful of turns, which is really, really good. I'm going to build a museum first, though, because I do intend to get out a few more archaeologists. Let's go ahead here and get ourselves... I guess the stock exchange. We're still not making a huge amount of money. International games, can never argue with that, but I would like to repeal the ban on copper, because that will help my happiness out a little bit more. Everybody else is just going to sit tight. Of course, all the artillery is going to get the question for that now. Right, you've finished that, which is very good. Still running short on things for people to do now. Guess we could go here, build a lumber mill maybe for variety. You can go onto alert mode, as can you. 6 turns away from railroad. You could just sleep there. So, possibly time for one more turn. And yeah, I know I'm being converted by various different missionaries. I'm not too bothered. I haven't been really been playing a religious game. I've got a very, very small amount of incoming faith. I don't suppose you're willing to give me any more by any chance, are you? No, I didn't think so. I'm just not liked enough, which is fine. 3 gold per turn, I'll take it where I can. Would you be willing to swap for Wales? Actually, you would. That's not too bad then. That gives us a little bit of additional happiness there. I'll accept that. So I'm still in 3rd place. I'm still just a couple of 100 points behind Ramses. Ban... Right. A lot of stuff here. It's all very messy. Okay. International Games was passed. Fully expected that to happen. Repeal Luxury has passed. Brilliant. I bet I'm not even getting copper anymore anyway. I am getting copper. Okay, that's fine. My turn to make a proposal. Scholars in residence could be useful. That would certainly help. Civilizations research technology 20% more quickly if it has been discovered by at least one other civilization, because I am still behind. So that could be useful. Historical landmarks could be useful as well. Let's go for historical landmarks, because I do have a few landmarks, so we'll go ahead and do that. Choose production. We've finished the research lab. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start doing research on international games, and I think I'm actually going to start doing that in most of my cities. Do I want to finish that hospital first? You're not going to let me change the order there, are you? International games, and then international games. You're going to finish the research lab, change production, international games. We probably won't be able to get it, but we're going to try. You're building a public school, change production, go to international games. Then after that, I'm just going to click public school just so I can remember what I was building there. You're building a seaport. We are going to build international games and then seaport just so that I can remember. So that's all of our cities working on the international games apart from the one that's almost finished the research lab. So we'll see how close we can get to it. Right, what are we doing with you now? Not an awful lot, apparently. Guess we can get a few more farms and things going. You finished that farm. Is that currently connected? 1, 2, 3. It's too far away for us to work, but it would give us another tradable resource. So I suppose we could get it connected up. You guys are going to build a quarry. It gives us a little bit of extra production here. You guys, I think I said a lumber mill for variety. And that is pretty much all I can do on this turn, so I'm going to call it there. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you are still enjoying this series. It's not going to be too long now before we go to war with Egypt. I would like us to get bombers first, but I think they're a little bit of a distance off. We may have enough to actually go for them right now. I can't dawdle too much because we're already at turn 345 of a potentially max 500 turn game. So if I am going to go ahead and attack Egypt, I better do it pretty quickly. So that is going to be coming up rather shortly. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you still enjoyed the series, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.